Today I'd like to start by thanking the Macomb County Chamber for putting this together. So can we give the Macomb County Chamber a hand of applause? Thank you very, very much. And I'd also like to start by thanking our sponsors. So we have several sponsors today. We have AT&T, Beaumont Health, DTE, United Shore Baseball, and MedStar Ambulance. And before we get into kind of the meats and potatoes of today, we just have a short word from a few of our sponsors that are going to come up and share a couple things. So I'd like to start by inviting Dana Schmidt from United Shore Baseball League up here, who's going to say a few words. Please give Dana a hand of applause.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event. I'm Dana Schmidt. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the United Shore Professional Baseball League, and we are the league that plays at Jimmy John's Field. So, believe it or not, we actually played a full baseball season this year. Not a lot of people know that, but we thought we were going to Phase 5, so we called the players, and then we kind of got stuck, and we played a full season. But it actually turned out to be a good thing for us. We learned a lot about how to operate during a pandemic with limited capacity, but the good news is we feel pretty confident that by next summer we will be able to play relatively normally if everything with vaccines go as everybody's talking. So we're planning for that. We're planning to play a full season next year. We are releasing our 2021 schedule today. Our opening day is May 28th next year, so push back a couple weeks from normal to get farther away from this pandemic. But super excited about it, and we're expecting to have everybody back out. We'll have fireworks again, lots of things for the family again, and so if you're interested in learning a little bit about our schedule, we do have a copy of it here. Heather is at our table, and you can pick up a copy of that, but we can't wait to have everybody back out to Jimmy John's Field. And our slogan this year is we're bringing back the fun in 2021. So everybody, see you back out next summer.
Bringing back fun in 2021. Who can't wait for 2020? New Year's can't get here soon enough, right? Thank you so much for that, Dana. Next, I'd like to invite Susan Burkhart from MedStar Ambulance to the stage to share a few words. Please give Susan a round of applause.
Good morning. It's very nice to see you all in person live and not on a Zoom call. So I want to start by thanking Kelly and the Chamber and congratulate Laura in her new role. And just to let you know what's happening, MedStar, of course, has been serving Macomb County for actually 30 years. This last year and a half, we've expanded all the way up to Bay City. So we now cover almost half of the state of Michigan. But of course, Macomb County is near and dear to our heart, and that's where our corporate office is, just 3/4 of a mile up the street. We now employ almost 1,000 employees. So when I started at MedStar 13 years ago, I think we did about 70 runs a day and had about 70 or 80 employees. So the growth has been explosive, but still a pleasure, and this is still absolutely the heart of our organization. The only plug I want to mention, there is a national shortage of EMS workers. So one of the ways we are helping to combat that is we are going to kick off 2021 with free training and free paid training. So if you know somebody interested in EMS, please give us a call. Find us online at medstarambulance.org, and it is a fast track to a nursing degree as well. So we're just hoping all of the kids graduating are interested in a career in healthcare, want to serve others. It's also a great way to segue into public safety. So if they're going to work in EMS, we hope they'll want to work for us. So thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Awesome. Free training, and there's an opportunity to make an impact everywhere, especially in the healthcare sector, and what an opportunity to find purpose in your work and to have a company be able to come alongside you and get an early start to that. Thank you so much. Well, and then as I mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Purpose Point. We are a professional development organization located right here in the heart of Mount Clemens at New Way Creative, which is a new co-working space that is right down the street at top of the Viscount building. And we do a whole bunch of leadership training and events and culture development and a whole litany of stuff. But what I want to share with you today is a short video of something that we did 2 years ago in 2019 called the Purpose Summit that was supposed to happen in 2020, actually in this theater and at Oakland University down the street, but didn't happen because of COVID. But we are planning on doing it May 11th and 12th of 2021. Either here, that's the plan, but if we have to be outside, there's a possibility that it will be at Freedom Hill. So without further ado, I'd like to show you Purpose Summit 2021. When was the last time that you stopped and asked yourself, why am I here?
The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose is to give it away. None of us are in the business that we say we're in. There's two kinds of work in the world, work that's assigned, and there's work that's required.
Everything that you're destined for in your life, you have the capability of going to get, but it will not be given to you.
If you want to be relevant, if you want to create a legacy, please pay attention.
What we need more and more is people to do the work that's required and stop waiting for permission.
That's great news for people who are on purpose.
But our attitude is so important in life. My question to you is, what is it that you need to let go of?
Nobody's going to grow your business for you. Nobody's going to get the attention of your prospects for you. Nobody.
We spend our lives comparing ourselves to the lives that other people are living rather than figuring out the life we're supposed to be living. So registration for that is now back open, and we had room for about 500 people. If we obviously go to Freedom Hill, it'll be a lot more, but our plan is to stay here, and about 250 of those tickets are gone because they registered for 2020 and it didn't happen. So I would be sure to visit thepurposesummit.com and get your tickets for that, and of course there's also sponsorship opportunities as well. Well, without further ado, I'm going to stop talking and invite the person who we've all waited to hear talk to share her vision for Mount Clemens and share some exciting updates on some incredible transformational things that are already taking place. So please help me welcome to the stage Mayor Laura Kropp.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on what Kelly Levati and I looked at as a potential date of the State of Mount Clemens speech as, well, it's 2020. Why not have it on November, Friday the 13th? What could go wrong? So thank you so much for spending your Friday morning here with us. Welcome to the State of Mount Clemens 2020. Before we delve into what has happened in the past 12 months, I'd like to acknowledge some of the people we have with us today. First, thank you to our MC, Davin. Davin Silvano, I appreciate the warm welcome and all of your help in the last, 1 year maybe since we've met. Davin is the founder and CEO of Purpose Point, as he said, and the co-founder of New Way Creative, both offices located here in Mount Clemens. Davin is a newly published author of Finding Purpose at Work. He also will be hosting the Purpose Summit, as you saw in the video, at the Emerald Theater on May 11th and 12th. And the summit will be a 2-day experience bringing national speakers, thought leaders, business leaders, and community leaders together. For more information on how to register, please visit purposesummit.com. I'd like to extend a thank you to John Hanna and his team here at the beautiful Emerald Theater. They did a wonderful job with today's breakfast. So when organizing your next event, contact the Emerald Theater staff to learn about all the hosting opportunities. Also joining us today, either via Zoom or here in person, are our dedicated city staff and department heads. Could you please give our staff a round of applause for their hard work? I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my partners in crime, in elected leadership of the city. Our city commission is made up of 6 individuals who are dedicated, professional, and respectful of each other. I'm proud to have them as members of our leadership team. When I call your name, please rise. Commissioner Ron Campbell, Commissioner Wanda Goodenough, Commissioner Rashida Hammond, and Commissioner Denise Menser. Joining us today virtually by Zoom is Commissioner Glenn Voorhees and Commissioner Laura Fournier. Please give them a round of applause for all their work in the city. I would also like to introduce Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle. Could you please stand and be recognized? Thank you to all of our elected officials for attending today's event and for all the work you do on behalf of the citizens of Mount Clemens. While you are busy saying hello and eating your breakfast, I hope you had the opportunity to take a look at some of the photographs featured on our slide presentation. These photos represent our past, times that we celebrate and times that we learn from. While it's important to recognize and value our history, we must look forward and plan for a prosperous Mount Clemens. Today, we'll walk through the events of the past 12 months to see the direction Mount Clemens is headed towards. November 2019 was a very exciting time for me personally after winning the election. I spent many of the first weeks meeting with staff members, commissioners, key community stakeholders, and business leaders. It was a whirlwind of the holidays, meeting new people, and trying to connect what people were doing in our city. One of the common themes I heard from people who were invested in Mount Clemens was that they believed without a city manager, we wouldn't make progress. The City Commission and I agreed that we needed to work on finding a city manager. By December, we had begun the process of searching for and interviewing city manager candidates. At the end of February, we made an offer to former Royal Oak City Manager, Don Johnson. Don, can you please stand and be recognized? Everyone, give him a warm Mount Clemens welcome. Also new to our team at Mount Clemens, Mount Clemens City Hall this year, our executive assistant, Nicole Bertuznik, who's also our extraordinaire on the technology today. Nicole is also has experience in digital marketing and has taken over our social media. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. City planner Kate Bell has also joined the city for the next year as a fellow from the Community Economic Development Association of Michigan. This is the first time Mount Clemens is participating in the CDAM Fellowship Program. Our Treasurer's Office also welcomed Administrative Clerk Katie Kirsch. Please give a warm welcome to Nicole, Kate, and Katie. During the second week of March, City Manager John Johnson began his work at the city. Less than 1 week later, COVID-19 executive orders for mandatory lockdowns came from the governor. As you can imagine, the following few weeks had many challenges for Don and I. Being new to our roles in the city, we never would have imagined what the next 8 months would bring to our community. March and April brought on many decisions that needed to be made quickly, and sometimes with few details. In other words, there was no playbook. No one could give us guidance as leaders because they didn't live through this either. We had to learn to make Mount Clemens nimble. And as you know, governmental entities are not exactly known to be nimble. To take I would like to take this opportunity to thank Captain Greg Shipman, who was sitting at that table right over there, but is out on a call with our other firefighters. Captain Shipman spent many additional hours connecting with the Macomb County Emergency Management Team to relay information to us on an ever-changing situation. He wrote a plan on how to properly deal with the COVID-19 pandemic for Mount Clemens. On many occasions, Captain Shipman was the voice of reason and calm. I would also like to thank our HR team of Sarah Price and Jennifer Gilotti, who spent many days preparing the staff to work remotely and then again to prepare a return to work plan. During the days of the quarantine, we all spent much of the time on the phone and Zoom meetings managing the city. In the afternoon or evening, I could be frequently found hosting Facebook Lives to let residents know what the city was working on and how the ever-changing executive orders were impacting the community. The DDA and I created a Facebook group that became a model for communities like downtown Rochester. It was called the Mount Clemens Downtown Connector. We used this group to give out information to businesses on possible grant opportunities, webinar trainings, and one-on-one help with navigating the ever-changing business landscape. We connected our DDA grant writer with individual businesses who needed help filling out the CARES and county grant paperwork. We are proud that not one Mount Clemens business closed due to COVID. When industries in the community began to reopen in May and June, the Downtown Development Authority and members of our business community worked together to create an outdoor dining plan. The DDA invested money in cafe tables and chairs, parklets, and the City Commission waived all fees associated with outdoor dining for all our businesses. The DDA also began a multi-revitalization of Cherry Street Mall by removing the old and moldy tables and chairs and benches that had cement foundations. The removal of those structures has created a more park-like setting. The city and DDA will be planning for Phase 2 Cherry Street revitalization this winter. Speaking of infrastructure changes, during COVID, we still made some major projects happen. During the winter of 2019-2020, a project to replace the prime ozone machine that essentially removes all of the taste out of Mount Clemens water was underway. The final installation of a custom-built machine was being handled by 2 professionals from California. This complex installation was still happening in March of 2020. Both men who represented the manufacturer were forced to leave without completing the installation because of travel advisories. This left the city with a potential issue for the spring when the algae would leave a prominent foul taste in the water. Our water department supervisor Lenny Bertrand and Department of Public Services Director Jeff Wood began to coordinate for potential solutions. They thankfully, in the end, along with the virtually connected California installation team, were able to complete the installation. Other projects that were completed with far less drama were continuations of the Mount Clemens sidewalk program. The summer of 2020 focused on the River Acres neighborhood. The City Commission recently passed a budget that included additional funds to expand the sidewalk program in the spring of 2021. Next year, 2021, there will be a total investment of almost $750,000 to improve the sidewalks of 3 designated sections of the city instead of just 1. The city, with the help of a Transportation Assistance Program grant, was able to resurface Dickinson Street. We thank Jeff Wood for obtaining the TAP grant for the city of Mount Clemens. Economic development in Mount Clemens has been identified by the City Commission as a key component to the revitalization of our community. We know we must increase our taxable base, considering a large of our current tax base is considered non-taxable. One of the tools we plan to use is our Downtown Development Association. Let me start by commending the DDA Board Chair, Stephen Saff Jr., which I believe he is joining us virtually, who's dedicated to the city of Mount Clemens is endless. To Mickey Weiss, who is here with us, please rise, Mickey. We call Mickey not only our DDA events coordinators, but also the greatest Mount Clemens cheerleader. She, along with Steve, have kept the DDA going without the lack of a DDA director for the past 8 years. In order to operate the DDA as it was intended, we needed to create a creative solution because the DDA budget could not sustain a full-time director's salary. A plan was formulated to collaborate with the city and have Community Development Director Brian Tingley, who also is joining us today. Go ahead and stand, Brian. Brian will now fill the position of DDA Director. We also appointed City Executive Assistant Nicole Bertuznik as the DDA Social Media Director. This move saved the DDA approximately $60,000 annually in personnel costs. A partnership with the Economic Development Department of Macomb County is also a new strategy the DDA Board and City plan to invest in. This partnership helps bring staff resources of manpower and networking that our small staff couldn't accomplish alone. Many of you may have participated in our Art Space market survey this past February. Art Space is a national company who builds affordable live workspace for artists. Our local Art Space committee is entering the 3rd phase of the 4-phase process. We thank Executive Director of the Anton Art Center, Phil Gilchrist. Phil is also here. Could you please stand, Phil? And resident Barb Dempsey, the co-chairs of the Art Space Committee, for their leadership on this local economic development opportunity. One of our existing and ongoing initiatives that we believe is an economic driver within the city is our Art City campaign. This year, we had many opportunities for people to enjoy outdoor art within our town. The first collaboration was with the DIA to bring a walkable tour of classic painting reproductions hung in storefronts throughout the downtown. The second initiative was a sculpture program with MCEP, who organized private donors to sponsor sculptures along northbound, southbound Gratiot, and Main Street. Mount Clemens is definitely rich in art and culture. While you visit Uptown to see all of the beautiful art, you will see existing businesses investing in their buildings, such as Sorrento's Pizza, J.K. Millworks storefront, and the Rotary Club sponsoring Rotary Park improvements. You may also notice brand new storefronts and new faces in downtown as well. We welcome G's Louise Boutique, opening soon at 69 North Walnut. The Cake Experience, opening soon at 58 Cherry Street Mall. Deep Cuts Barbershop, now open at 81 Macomb Place. Cellar 104 Wine Boutique, opening soon at 104 Macomb Place. Black Cat Coffee Shop, opening soon at 55 Macomb Place. Katie Anton Photography, open now at 65 North Walnut. Do All Art Supply, now open at 33 Crocker Boulevard, and a new collaborative space, New Way Creative, located at 65 North Walnut. And we have some breaking news. Are you ready? This Wednesday, a lease was signed by a renowned chef who specializes in Asian cuisine. He plans to bring his restaurant from his current location on Hall Road to 143 North Main Street. New Age Cafe, currently located on Hall Road just west of Heidenreich, will be renamed New Age Noodles, and they plan to open 3 months from now. All of us welcome Chef Toom. Outside of downtown, one of our largest employers within the city had a very big addition to its facilities. Listen to all the exciting details here in a short video.
Macomb County is growing with more than 850,000 moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, big brothers and little sisters. And when it comes to emergency care, they all need the very best. In 2015, McLaren Macomb took on the challenge of creating a world-class emergency center. An emergency center that was designed to meet the needs of every patient who enters our doors. An emergency center staffed by physicians, nurses, and healthcare professionals who have emergency and trauma expertise. An emergency center that is ready to care for our neighbors across the street or across the region. An emergency center of this kind would be a first for our county, but McLaren Macomb is used to being first. We were Macomb County's first verified trauma center. We offered Macomb County's first comprehensive cardiovascular program. And we offered the region's first orthopedic robotic procedures. When it comes to elevating emergency care in our community, we're ready to be first again. Now, McLaren Macomb offers Macomb County's premier emergency center, with 3 separate waiting areas to help keep you safe. An area for patients in need of emergency care, an area for patients with less severe illness or injury, and a special waiting area for our pediatric patients. And with our online ER check-in, you reduce the time you spend in any waiting room because we're ready when you arrive. Each patient care area has been cleaned and disinfected, and our team is ready to provide the care you need. When you need emergency care, you need a hospital to be ready for whatever comes through the door, ready for any injury, ready for any illness, ready to respond at the speed of emergencies. That's why McLaren Macomb built a new emergency center with advanced technology, clinical expertise, and 68 private exam rooms. We're ready day or night. With Macomb County's newest emergency center, McLaren Macomb is ready for you. That's emergency care at McLaren Macomb. That's doing what's best.
This substantial investment by McLaren Macomb in our community hospital is a sign of their dedication to the health and care of our community as a whole. We look forward to partnering with McLaren for years to come. Setting the path for Mount Clemens has been my top priority since taking office. That priority became a reality in July, when the City Commission and I met to begin formally creating a strategic plan. During these planning sessions, we created a new mission statement led by Commissioner Hammond, which reads, "The mission is to provide ethical, effective leadership and municipal services that enhance the quality of life for an inclusive community." We also created a new vision for Mount Clemens. It is our goal to change the outside negative perception of Mount Clemens to one that is positive. We want to be the uptown of Macomb County, a community that's rich with culture, great food, and many opportunities for entertainment. Our strategic plan also outlined 6 key goal areas with several outcomes under each goal. Every 6 months, we will evaluate our progress towards these goals, making sure this is an ever-revolving plan. We are proud of all the work the Commission put in to build a path to the future. Recreation is essential for all communities. Recreation helps build roots, pride, and lasting friendships among all age groups. Mount Clemens lost its recreation department through budget cuts in 2004. This summer, we worked with Advancing Macomb, the Metropolitan YMCA, the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, Community Foundation, and resident Tommy Barnes. Tommy, will you stand, please? The efforts of these organizations made bringing back great programs to the children and families of Mount Clemens a reality. Y on the Fly was a program that came to the parks of Mount Clemens 2 days a week from 5 to 7 p.m. The YMCA staff would set up outside and kids would flock to the park to come out and play. The Y rotated from Shadyside, Olson, Wilson, and Lawndale parks two parks each Tuesday and Thursday. Over 500 children enjoyed the programs this summer. Another program designed to broaden access to sports and play for the kids of Mount Clemens was Project Play. The Ralph C. Wilson program donated 300 play packs each week to the kids of Mount Clemens. Each week was a new theme. Some of the themes featured were basketball, baseball, street hockey, and all of the equipment needed to play was given to each child in the play pack. Both programs were such a success that they are now exploring other opportunities for grant funding in our city recreation program. In order to formally begin recreation again in Mount Clemens, we recreated the Mount Clemens Recreation Board. The board is comprised of 5 residents and many stakeholders who are non-voting members of the committee. We have high expectations for this new recreation board and hope to expand our offerings in the coming year. Our Mount Clemens Fire Department is a point of pride with residents. They have worked short-staffed for almost 2 years now, but we're proud to have hired 3 new firefighters last month to the department. I would also like to thank our HR team for all of their work in the long process of the new hires. 2 promotions were also given out this year, one to Lieutenant Dave Buscano and the other to Captain Tom Musheri. Captain Greg Shipman obtained 4 substantial grants this year for much needed equipment. 3 assistance to firefighter grants, one which provided personal protection equipment for firefighters, another for vehicle exhaust removal system from the fire station, and the third was a grant for new portable radios. The 4th grant was the Firehouse Subs grant for a battery-operated Jaws of Life equipment. Thank you, Captain Shipman, for obtaining grants for our department. The faces of Mount Clemens residents don't all look the same. We aren't all from the same background, eat the same type of dinners, or have the same life experiences. Yet, when we're planning events, making decisions for the city, or planning for the future, we pull from our own life experiences to determine how to proceed. In the next 12 months, I challenge all of you to try and think outside of only your background. Begin learning about others' perspectives. At the city, we're making a conscious effort to be more inclusive and diverse in terms of hiring practices and decision-making. I'm proud that one of my first actions as mayor was to appoint Mr. Joe Harrington to our local officers' compensation board. Mr. Harrington lived in a neighborhood where not one resident sat on any of our boards or commissions. We can't possibly know what a community and its residents need if we don't have their voice at the table. I'm making a commitment to continue adding diversity and proper representation to our boards and committees of the City of Mount Clemens. An exciting new process the city is about to undertake is the development of an all-encompassing branding campaign. We can't wait to see what the results of this creative process will be. Mount Clemens will be releasing the RFP next week. If you or your company can provide the branding services, please reach out to Teresa in the City of Mount Clemens Purchasing Department. As you can see from the graphic on the screen, branding is much more than a new logo. We want our brand to convey our story as a community and help us develop a strategy to attract further development and revitalization. A few commercials before my closing remarks. Next Thursday, November 19th, from 6 to 8 p.m., will be Widow's Night Out, as many of our downtown retail locations and restaurants will be participating. Friday, November 20th, from 6 to 8 p.m., join us for a socially distant Mount Clemens tree lighting service, where Santa and Mrs. Claus will be joining us at the fountain stage. Last but certainly not least, Saturday, November 21st is the Small Business Saturday. Get a jump on your Christmas shopping and have a great lunch or dinner in our downtown. Remember, when you spend your money in your neighborhood, your sales tax stays in your neighborhood, your local store owners create local jobs, local establishments provide great customer service, and local owners buy local services themselves. My family and I have lived in the city for almost 20 years. I've attended or listened to many states of the city, states of the county, states of the state, and states of the union. And as a resident, we come to those thinking, where is the city taking us? My why for being in this role as mayor is because I wanted to change that thinking. Instead, I want everyone to think, where are we going together? I believe our city has a bright future ahead of us. When you use your new flashlights, provided today by the Mount Clemens DDA, think of us and where we're headed. It all starts with each one of us collaborating, serving, and engaging together in this historic city we're all proud to call home. Thank you so much for your time today and for all that each of you do in Mount Clemens.
Can we give Mayor Laura Kropp another round of applause? I have to say, by contrast, I've lived 10 minutes from the city for the last 20 years, and I've only been down here 3 times before we moved our company down here, and I'm sad that I've missed out on so much, and I am so excited that we won't be missing out on all the amazing stuff that you just shared that is happening in the city. So excited. Well, before we wrap up, we have a few more thank yous. First, we have a video that we have to play by Representative Andy Levin.
Hey friends in Mount Clemens, it's great to be with you at least virtually for your State of the City. I know this has been a really tough year, 2020. Who could have imagined? Mayor Kropp, congratulations. Don Johnson, you've got a new team there. Y'all are doing an amazing job for Mount Clemens in really tough times. So let me mention a couple specific things. First of all, this week we celebrated Veterans Day. So I hope everybody takes a pause and thinks about the 37,000 veterans who live throughout Michigan's 9th District, many of them right in Mount Clemens, all the people who already gave their lives in service to our country, in your families, in our community, and that we need to take care of our veterans every day. And I'm working hard on that in Congress. One bill that I got all the way passed through the Congress and signed by President Trump was a bill to be more effective in preventing veteran suicides. So let's all keep veterans in our minds. Secondly, the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh my gosh, we're in a tough spot, friends. The case numbers are growing really fast in Michigan and throughout the country. The positivity rate is growing. Hospitalizations are growing. The rate of hospitalizations, and thank God of deaths, isn't quite what it was in the spring, but we've lost so many fellow Americans to this, so many fellow Macomb County folks in Mount Clemens. Let's really do all we can. I'm gonna reach here and show you. I just put my mask down to make this video. Wear your dang mask. Keep socially distant from each other. Make your Thanksgiving and Christmas or holiday plans right now. And it's sad, but we've got to make them in a way that keeps everybody safe. We can get through this together as a unified community, state, and country. Take care of each other and use science and public health to get on the other side of this. The public health approach is the way to reopen our economy safely. It's the way to get kids back in schools. What a sort of sad thing is it for kids not to be in school. It's so much better for their health, for their education, for our families. So we really need to get our arms around this. I'm really confident that the Biden administration will be super aggressive and super scientific about it. I hope we'll have a vaccine, and that letting the scientists do their work will give the public a lot more confidence in the vaccine. So I think things will be looking up, but we all need to do our part this winter. I want you to know that my door is always open. I hope anybody in Mount Clemens will pick up the phone and call 586-498-7122 and be in touch with my office, which is in Warren. We're working virtually, but every hour my staff picks up those phone messages, gives them out to the staff person most expert in that area, and we call you back. There's no endless loops. There's no push 1 for this, push 2 for that. There's no being on hold. You just wait a second, give your detailed message, and a live human being will call you back within a few hours, a few business hours. So be in touch with us, take care of each other. Mount Clemens is such a great place. I'm so committed to lifting up the beautiful community of Mount Clemens. Have a great State of the City, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, and take care.
We all have the pleasure of having our county executive, Mark Hackle, here with us. And we'd like to invite Mark to come up and share a few words. So Mark, would you please come up?
Thank you. All right, I see they got me tethered here. Otherwise, I'd move around and become a cameraman's worst nightmare. It's got a couple cords here, so I'm stuck. Obviously, first off, I got to say, Laura, not only an incredible job with trying to get the message across, but I think over the past several months and being in this position, I think people have realized your passion isn't about the hope for the city. It's about making it happen for the city. And I'm just telling you from a county's perspective, we deal with 27 unique, distinct municipalities that make up Macomb County. And we're very fortunate because we're one of the fastest growing counties in the country. Around 880,000 people. And in fact, an interesting statistic, we're averaging about 13 new residents a day in this county. And it's because people truly like this place that they have called home. A lot of business investments happening here in Macomb County. But it's people like leaders within the various communities that have this, I guess if you will, impression that we can be better. And I love your terminology, aside from the one that I'm going to steal about fun in 2021. This idea of not it being a downtown, but an uptown. I mean, unfortunately, you tagged yourself as Macomb County's uptown girl, and we're going to have to play the Billy Joel song every time we see you now. You kind of get... That's going to be the tagline of the story now, Macomb County's new uptown girl. But I like that because it inspires this understanding that it's not just about the hope, it's about trying to make it happen. And that's what each and every one of us needs to be engaged with. And from a county's perspective, I got to tell you, especially with this latest COVID crisis we've been dealing with, and today, November 13th, believe it or not, happens to be the 8th month. In other words, this is actually today, the 8th month of dealing with this pandemic. The very first case we had was March 13th. And watching what happened throughout the entire county, including Mount Clemens, the engagement we've had, there hasn't been a lot of rhetoric, political animosities or tension. Here in Macomb County, we try to figure out how do we move together to help be part of the solution. Whether it's dealing with the municipal leaders, whether it's dealing with our business sector, dealing with our educational system, and I know Eric is here somewhere from Lance Cruz, the incredible job that they're doing to try to be part of the solution and making sure that we try to figure out how do we coexist with this. Because let's face it, the only way it's going to go away is if there is this vaccine that comes out And we need to be mindful of the concerns we're having, but you know what? There was no tension amongst, if you will, the public officials here in Macomb County, because we're continuing to try to figure out how do we work together to be part of the solution as we move forward. I just looked at the recent statistics from the census, and many of you probably have already heard that, but when they're looking at various communities throughout the entire country and getting that response back, it's important. It's important for all of us because it brings money back. Our statement during the time frame when we're trying to get people convinced to fill out the census was, fill out Census 2020, help bring back our money for our roads, our educational system, support within the community. Macomb County, of large counties, meaning counties of over 500,000 population or greater, was #1 in the state in response. And on top of that, we were #1 in the entire country with response. And that's something to be proud of because people truly understand they want to be part of the solution. They want to be engaged. And here in Macomb County, we're seeing that happen. And I guess no better example than what we just heard here today of what's been happening throughout this pandemic in one of our towns in Macomb County with a rich history. So Laura, credit to you. Obviously, your board, what's happening with the folks that are working within your organization. But understand from us here in Macomb County, we're going to be continuing and committed to working alongside you to make Mount Clemens that uptown you want it to be. So congratulations and thank you once again.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for your continued leadership for our county during what has certainly been one of the most challenging years, if not the most challenging year in all of our lifetimes. Thank you for your continued leadership through this time. A couple last thank yous, and then we'll be done. Did we get that video working or no for Andy? No? You did not? Okay. While I'm saying these thank yous, if you can all do me a favor and take your lighters out in your tables. I want to thank the Purpose Point team who's here today, who's helped actually put some things together. And Adam Ritchie is our Director of Client Partnerships, if you would stand and raise your hand. And Lisa Oprita, our Director of Communications, if you would stand and raise your hand. And thank you very much for all you did coming in here today. And then also my co-founder and partner in New Way Creative, Shane Giannino, if you would, Shane. A quick word, Purpose Point would not be here if it weren't for Shane. Shane came to the Purpose Summit in 2019. We met there, and he's the one that turned us on to the vision of all that's going on down here. So it's been a blessing and a true privilege to be down here in Mount Clemens, the uptown of Macomb County. It has been a long year, and it's been a dark year. And we're all looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know when that's going to happen. But we have an opportunity right now, each one of us, when we leave here today, to stop looking for the light at the end of the tunnel and instead to be the light in the tunnel. So if you would all take your flashlights off and remember that the light that each one of you has inside of you when you leave here today is much, much, much brighter than what you're holding in your hands. And we will be able to finish this year strong and go into 2021 much brighter than we leave 2020. Thank you again to the Macomb County Chamber, to Kelly Lavati, to Mayor Laura Kropp, and to all of our sponsors today. Have a wonderful and blessed day.